Okay guys, so in the previous video you would have actually seen that we made $20,000 profit on the funded account. So if I quickly take you onto that funded account on my phone and just show you what happened. So we had quite a few trades, as you guys can see. We actually ended with around $20,000 in profit, which is very, very beautiful. And we withdrew that and got it paid to my bank account, which I'll put a screenshot on the screen so you guys can see that the payout is real. And then with these funded accounts, what happens is it's not just one account. You keep trading that account like some prop firms which you'll see out there, ones I've actually used in the past. With these ones, you get a fresh account every single profit split. So you get it paid, you get the money into your bank, and the next day, the next couple of days, you actually get new account details for a fresh account to actually trade again into your profit split, to then withdraw more profits. And then you just keep repeating the process until you either blow the account, or I guess until you just bankrupt the company. You know, both of those could potentially happen with these prop firms. So in this video, I'm going to go through this simple trade I took on GBP USD. You guys know I only trade GBP USD. This is mainly because I used to trade gold like 99% of the time, sprinkled in with a bit of GU, but through my testing and I kind of wanted to change up my trading style. So the way I used to trade was, you know, multiple setups. I'd trade London and New York for gold. I'd probably take, you know, upwards, maybe even 10 trades a week, you know, at certain stages in my trading. Back in 2021, that's when I was taking a lot of trades. And this is good because if you have a very high win rate, you can make a lot of profit. But a lot of the times, you know, if you have other businesses, if you're trying to grow other things outside of trading, you're trying to have a life, you're kind of sat on the charts from 8 a.m. to, you know, 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening, just looking for setups, monitoring trades. And this wasn't really the lifestyle which I actually wanted to do when I got into trading. A lot of people try and get into trading for the trader lifestyle, but then they actually end up sitting at the charts all day in front of a computer, burning their eyes. And I kind of think that is the opposite of a trader lifestyle. The way I actually wanted to do it was, you know, wake up in the morning, trade for a few hours, maybe up to 11, 12 in the morning, and obviously 12 p.m. Maybe 1:30 at a push before, you know, the nice New York volume actually comes into the market. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did do, and that's why I changed my strategy. I knew that if I was going to trade London session, it'd be mostly GBP USD because of the pound and create a lot of volatility. And I did a lot of testing before I actually switched to solely trading GU. And once I saw the results were there, you know, when I was testing, I tested it every single session, every single time frame, pair, setup, risk to reward, everything, to see which actually performs the best, you know, over the long run, not just over 1 month of back testing or 30 trades. You got to test it in the long run. How will this strategy perform over 6 months, up to 12 months, up to 18 months, 24 months? That's what really matters in the grand schemes of things if you actually want to make money consistently for the long run in your trading journey. So how much did I make on this account in this singular profit split period? So there is the account. As you guys can see, we made around $7,300, minusing commissions, $7,180 on this trade. So you guys know what I do. I mention it on my Twitter a lot, I mention it on my Instagram, and even on this YouTube channel, how I trade with my prop firm accounts. So what I'll do, and what you guys will probably see me doing a lot, is only take a few trades and then wait for a payout. On the last account, I obviously was trying to get a decent payout. I was trying to get some YouTube content and everything. It is a little bit different, but for this one, I was like, I'm just going to get a payout. I'll take a trade. I'll take a couple of trades to get myself in profit, you know, 3, 4, 5% profit. That's all I'm really aiming for. You know, if you can get that 7, 8, 9, 10, even 10, 15K every 2 weeks, bi-weekly payouts on the True Forex funds, which I'm actually using at the moment, that all adds up. Let's say you're making 5K a week. If you're making 10K bi-weekly, you know, times that by 50 weeks in a year, it all adds up and you're making, you know, multiple 6 figures in a single year of trading. Obviously, people are going to say in the comments, well, what about profit split? What about tax? What about converting it to pounds? And obviously, yes, that is there. You know, when I had the $20,000 payout, I actually only got around £14,000 because they take their 20% profit split. That brings it down to, you know, if you do the math, $16,000. And then converting it to pounds, I was left with, just under £14,000 after the profit split. So it's obviously all relative, and out of this 7k, I think I only got around like 4.4k, £4,400 from this, but it's still profit, and it's going to be converted anyway to pounds. And if you're using a pound account, statistically you're actually trading with a lower amount, so you will make less profit anyway, even though there are conversions in place. But I'm just going to look on the charts now. I'm going to just talk a little bit about this trade and why I took it. But it's relatively simple. A lot of people seem to just overcomplicate their trading, and I just keep it nice and simple. You'll probably see that even though you don't trade exactly how I trade, you'll be able to get in on the exact same setups. There'll be setups which you'll see that I'm taking, but you'll be like, okay, I could have taken it out of my strategy, and that means that I'm trading your strategy. Firstly, no two traders actually trade exactly the same. Everyone sees the market differently. No one's going to be entering exactly the same point every single time. So let me just put that out there before you start commenting that's a SMC entry or whatever. I didn't trade any of that rubbish. Let's just get that straight. But you guys can see simply what's happening here. We had the push down, big push down. Price obviously came up. This area here, we actually broke out of. So when we came up, this is the breakout of this area. And then once we came back down, this is a key sign which we're going to actually go further to the upside. We didn't create a new low. This is kind of key for me. If we don't create a new low, then I am looking to take price higher, maybe look for long positions. So had a bit of consolidation. Again here, this is key. Although we didn't create a new high with this push up, we didn't break this high here, but we also didn't break the low. So back in the day, what I would have done was trade one of these little like wedge formations or whatever they're called, like this sort of thing. And then you would just trade obviously the break and retest or whatever of these areas. But I don't trade like that anymore. I just kind of use that as a sort of confidence that price is going to continue to the upside, and we can look for potential long positions on this sort of trade. So once we actually had this, so if we just mark that out, so we had this low here, failed to break this low, and then we had this low here, again failed to break that low, so we're continuously moving further to the upside. We have this area here, which is a break of structure, and then we had this high here, which again broke structure. And then once we came back down into this area, so we broke structure, this area here, came back down, retested in, somewhere in the imbalance in this area here, obviously where price has not been back to retest, so there's a big gap. And then price came back to retest within this gap. Relatively simple stuff. And again, what did this not do? It didn't break this low, didn't break this low, didn't break this low. There's a good sign that it could continue further to the upside. So when I'm actually trading these sort of setups, I'm looking for a break during London session. So you see that this area here was the high of the Tokyo session, obviously it being 6:30 a.m. for myself in the UK. And then once we actually broke above, this break above was at 9:45, which is, as you guys know, during the London session. So once we broke above, we then look for price to come back down into the area which we've actually just broken from, to then look to take price further to the upside. Obviously entry wise, I'm not really going to go a lot further into detail with that one. If you guys want to learn exactly how I trade, stop loss size, stop loss placement, entries, take profits, overall my trading strategy, then be sure to go check out my mentorship. The link in the description. There's also a newsletter on my website, linktrading.com. You guys can sign up for future updates on trading, anything I'm releasing, future videos, maybe some behind the scenes in the long run. So be sure to go check that out and sign up for the mentorship if you are interested in how I trade. Obviously that's not necessary. You don't need to buy a course. I didn't buy a course, I just learned from YouTube, but you got to be careful with the information out there. If there was a course all in one that showed me how to do everything, I would have snapped that up relatively quickly. But on this setup, so simple. Let's say you're trading support and resistance. A lot of people I see online, they just bash support and resistance. They're very against simplistic setups, and they just like to overcomplicate things. Let's say there's just a break of structure. They'll mix up 13 out of the 26 letters in the alphabet and then make up an acronym for this sort of thing. It just doesn't really make sense. Just call it a break of structure. Just call it a break of resistance. People just need to humble themselves and just trade simply. It's the most Efficient is the most calm way of trading. When you want to sit at the charts, get any little notebook out because you don't know what the ZQ172 block is. No, you don't want that. You want to sit down and see, okay, price here, this was the high, we've now broken above the high, so it's a break of structure. Simple. Break of resistance. What happens when it breaks? It usually retests before going higher. Simple. So when price retests, it pretty much retests into this zone, but the way I get my entries, I actually entered at this area here, and my limit was actually on this wick. The reason I use limits is simply just to avoid fear of entering. Talked about this a lot on my channel. I'm pretty sure I did a full video on it as well, but a lot of people, including myself back in the day, I would be scared to enter trades. Price would be around my entry and I simply wouldn't be able to execute the trade. Or a lot of times when you're getting in an entry, it can be quite volatile at that sort of area, because you want to enter where price is going to reverse from, hence the higher volatility. So what I started doing was setting an alert 4 or 5 pips away from the entry, sometimes 2 or 3 pips depending obviously on the volatility at the time. And then once it gets to that area, that's when I'll set the limit. Obviously, if the trade isn't valid still, I won't set the limit. If the trade is perfectly valid, that is when I will set the limit. And in this case, the limit was ready to be set when price actually came down on that candle. And then we enter the stop loss, annotate profit, and boom, the trade is set. What I'll do after that is just go about my day, trade management, maybe depending on the setup. This one was relatively simple, 1 to 4, but yeah, very, very simple trade. Went to the TP pretty much straight away. Obviously, once we broke this area here, it was very clear that it was going to go to the upside and take out this high at 1.25. Again, a psychological level on GBP USD, same as I used to trade at 1900, 1925, 1950, 2000 on gold. Same thing on GU. You have 1.25, 1.245, 1.24. Those sort of levels seem to work absolutely perfect. So if we look on the actual metrics, you guys can see the account here. If I refresh it, you see it's legit, and we only took 1 trade. If we go down here, 1 trade, 1 win, 100% win rate, obviously, and yeah, 20 lots, average win, average loss 0. There we go. As you guys can see here, I will blur out all the details, of my address and everything, but this is the amount we got paid before it was converted to pounds. $5,700 converted to pounds is like 4.4k. I'm pretty sure at the time, but yeah, that was very, very nice. So if you guys did enjoy, tomorrow morning I'm potentially going to film a live London session trading, so that might be up on the channel relatively quickly after this video. Depends on the editing schedule. So a little breakdown of the trade and an insight into my funded account trading. If you guys did enjoy, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.